Okay, this is Wayne with the redpillradio.com. We're at the Survival Preparedness, and I'm here with Marc Stevens with marcstevens.net. Yep.
I mess that up all the time.
Yeah, I threw the net in. I've listened to you so much. I literally, we bought some survival property, and I literally listen for hours and hours and hours to your stuff. So it's interesting to see in person and hear the voice and the face all in one place. So anyway, the state does not exist.
Fiction.
All right. Well, that's no one's got a more unique message than that. So let's start there.
Well, if you look at things as they are, and you start asking some questions, it'll be very clear to you that it's just a fiction. I mean, you got a guy who comes into court, for example, he claims to represent the state, and if you just ask him to prove that, it'll all collapse. So the way I go about doing the way I came upon that, because I was the anarchist and I was the one in local government, it's just gotten too big, but it was legitimate and the whole thing. And so you learn what a state's supposed to be. It's not the ground, because there were no states prior to 1776, July 4th.
Right.
Something changed. Like Arizona, there was no state of Arizona prior to 1912, or February of 1912. So it's supposed to be a body politic, and united under a government with certain territory.
Yeah.
But the territory is not the actual state.
Yeah.
So I looked into, what's a body politic? A body politic is made up of supposed to be citizens.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what the hell, what's a citizen? So you look at what a citizen is supposed to be, and that's a member of the body politic owing a duty of allegiance in return for duty of protection, and that their reciprocal obligations want a consideration for the other. Oh. And then I found these court cases like Bowles versus Vito, DeShaney versus County Winnebago. I mean, a whole bunch of Supreme Court cases, and they all said basically the same thing, that there was no duty to protect you. That's when the light bulb goes on. Wait a minute. If the only thing that makes you a citizen is membership in the body politic with a duty of allegiance in return for duty of protection, and there's no duty to protect you, the whole thing collapsed. So without those two duties that are reciprocal, there's no duty to protect, there's no duty of allegiance, there is no citizens. Well, if there are no citizens, well, there's no body politic. And without a body politic, you don't have a state. You don't even have a government. It's just literally a gang of killers, thieves, and liars. So it all broke down from there.
Have you ever said this before?
A few times. A few times.
It's like click. It's like you could do it in like the reality of the world in 90 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Oh my God, my mind's blown. What do I do now?
Well, it was. You had to, because I was the only one that I'm aware of, at least at the time, who was going into court and actually challenging them on this. Well, what good is it to notice? Try it in court. I mean, here you got a prosecutor, you got a guy, like you and me, well, with a spine, we have spines, but they go into court and they claim I'm representing the state. And when I started challenging them on that, because going into it, and this is what I'm going to talk at the workshop tomorrow, if you know it's a fiction, I can, if you're presenting a fiction to me, I can start to deconstruct that pretty methodically, and that's what I started doing. But I didn't want to go in and just try to say things like, oh, there is no state.
Yeah. But
now the burden's on me. I'm going to keep the burden on them. He claims he represents the state, which is a fiction, of course, to take the heat off of himself. Like I mentioned on the radio show yesterday, I quoted Luciana Spooner, that fictions are just to do away the consequences of facts.
It gives you the capacity to do things you could not do as an individual.
Right, because people would say, excuse me? So I would just ask the prosecutor, which is a basic legal thing. I mean, I'm just taking a basic legal procedure and putting it in a different context that through custom has gotten lost. Because if you and I came in and said, hey, I represent the state, or I represent XYZ corporation, they're going to want to have some proof. We'll prove it. So that's all I did. It's just that people, they just assume and buy into the fiction. If this guy comes in with a cheap suit and says he represents the state, I'm supposed to believe that. I say, no, I'm not going to believe that. That's not the way it operates. Prove it.
Yeah.
Because I can guarantee if I said the same thing, and I've done it. If you ever want to prove that an absurdity is demonstrated, they'll tell you. So, well, I represent the state too. So you get into this headbutting contest. Well, who's going to put up more evidence? The prosecutor or me? And the prosecutor can't put up any evidence. He can put up as much evidence as I am. So going into it, I know that for him to prove that there's a state, he has to prove that there are citizens. Well, how does he prove that there are citizens? He has to prove that relationship. of duty of protection and duty of allegiance, which I know he can't possibly do.
Yeah. But you know what's great about this is that this information is the most censored information that there is. Because if you talk about 9/11 truth, you can go everywhere, you can get on shows, you can, but if you get down to the state media, doesn't want people who said there is no state
And can prove it.
Right. So I don't know anybody else that has your messages. It's so. I've been listening to different truth sites for a long time, and I came to your stuff, and it just blows your mind. So I can't recommend enough. I'm a consumer of this information. I haven't taken action on it yet. So when you mentioned having spines yet, I'm not all the way there. But Mark knows what he's talking about and can prove it. And it's just great stuff, and I can't recommend more for people to check this out, markstevens.net. And it's got free audio. Download it, listen to it with your next car trip, and that's what we do all the time. And I really appreciate what you do.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay.